Hey everyone, welcome to the third episode of Frequency Talk. And with me today is no other than the one and only Robert Babicz, which is like the grandmaster of electronic music. He is in the scene now for over 30 years, and we have the privilege to talk with him today about music production, what his current studio setup looks like, and what has changed in his production process. So, hello, Robert.
Hey, hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for being here, and it's a great pleasure to have you on the show because actually, I know you from a 2007 interview that you gave for Slices,
hmm
where you talked about your production process back in the day and mastering, and that was for me like one of the first people that had an attitude with production because you said that you wouldn't use any presets and you became really bored by using presets. Um, is that something that you still hold on to today?
Um, the funny story about this is that at that time I was a sound designer for Native Instruments as well and doing presets. but
Okay.
of course, yeah. I hope everybody is creating as many unique sounds as possible. I mean, presets are a nice starting point for me, and then you can go on.
Yeah.
But usually, I prefer when it comes to synths, very simple synths, so I can create them like straight away. I don't like complicated gear at all. Everything that is complicated is
And what do you mean by complicated? Is that for you the menu diving, or is that the architecture by itself, or how would you describe something complicated?
um, yeah. As soon as uh, a synth is having menus, it's horrible. I
Oh,
mean,
really? Okay.
uh, uh, I, as you can see, I have a modular system here, like
Yes.
a little bit, and there everything has exactly one knob and is doing one thing,
Mm.
and that's perfect.
Okay.
I'm every time when I speak with a developer, if it's a plugin or gear,
Yeah.
I always tell them, please, if you finish your instrument, make a final test. Put a musician into a dark room, get him drunk as hell, and then let him play. And if he's able to survive, you did it right.
Okay. That's an hell of a that's a good starting point, I guess. I mean, I have that discussion very often because I now have the chance to talk to a lot of these developers. For example, Electron. I talk to the Electron guys, or Waldorf, or Roland, and they always have this like struggle of featureitis, which is putting too much features into a product, and then you don't have like you lose the intuitive touch to the instrument, and
Yes.
it's really interesting because we now live in these strange times where we have YouTubers and influencers and music magazines, and they try to um, rate an instrument based on their features. And if I now follow your logic, that would be something that you would like to be against, right?
Yeah. I like simplicity. So make things that do one thing or maybe two things maximum, but really, really good.
Yeah,
And
that's
then it's like perfect. A good guitar is a good guitar. You don't need some 10 LFOs on a guitar, you know?
yeah.
So it's the same with synths.
So back in the day, you were talking. I mean, in the Slices video, you were talking about the Alpha Juno. Is that still a synthesizer that you use in your productions?
I still have it, but Yeah, I use it sometimes. I also, I mean, I got the modular virus somehow, and actually I never planned to have one. You know, this I can tell you, you see, it's like a wall of stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought I will never buy anything. I don't want this in my life. But then, because I'm a mastering engineer and I help other people, I had one client who couldn't pay me, and he offered me, I can give you.
Just a little bit, and then it started, But, it's interesting. You have the Waldorf keyboard. So that's interesting. So you stick to
Oh
the.
yeah, I completely love this. This is amazing. This gives the modular idea the musicality back.
Yeah.
Really, really, it's I'm almost like crazy why I didn't bought this before. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now it's a music instrument again, and not something beep beep blop blop blop. You know.
That's what
Yeah.
always held me back when looking at modular, because modular was, had always this just strange bleep noises and nothing specifically harmonic by itself. And looking at your setup and your production style, it's always very very musical, and it's always very, so to speak, with harmonic content. So that's interesting that you keep to that route even when you're going to modular. That's really cool. So
Yeah, I see myself not really as a musician. I see myself as a storyteller. So every track that I create is a story, and all the tools around me, they help me to be the storyteller.
okay.
Um,
So what's the difference for you between a musician and a storyteller? Is it the greater scheme of what you try to achieve, or where's the balance for you?
it's not about this is good or this is bad. It's more about a musician is, let's say, a classical trained guy that is following rules. I don't care about rules. I care only about the story. And everything that helps me to create the story is fine.
So
I would break every rule on this planet if the track needs this.
I understand. And if I understand you correctly, then it's the sound design aspect of your production is also a gateway to the storytelling.
Yes, yeah, completely. The sound, the texture of the sound is part of the composition. Is a very important part. So for me, creating the sound, making the mix down while I'm creating is also part of the composition. It's all one. So I need tools that help me to be direct and fast. And yeah, again, I don't like complicated things.
I get it. So that's in musical theory. I read an interesting article where it stated that techno was the last big revelation in music, because techno music and house music changed the complete aesthetics of music, because it wasn't important which notes you were playing, but how they would sound in the composition. And this is absolutely amazing if you think about it. So it's not really the notes that you're playing, it's what you put behind it. And if you think about this, then of course using presets would strip away the complete storytelling part that you would try to achieve, right?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because every sound, like in short, I would say that when I make music, I see I work with Logic, and I don't have any prepared situation there. I always start with a complete empty screen, and this is my theater stage, and every sound, every element is there for a reason. Maybe it's an actor, it's a main actor, it's a side actor, or maybe it's a decoration. And I create scenes. And then, you know, sounds can make laugh and make little sounds, or sounds can fight, or it can be a great friendship.
Yeah,
Everything possible.
completely. So when you think about your production process, I mean, how would you describe your sound? What is the aesthetic that you're trying to achieve with every track? Is there something?
Yeah, the aesthetic I would say is, for me, it's important that you are able to close your eyes and walk with your mind inside the track, and you can look around and feel and see the story. And actually, I just create the music for myself.
Okay.
Like, I don't really. I mean, it's of course, it's the way I'm really thankful that I can live. This is my life.
Yeah.
But in the end, I just make the music I want to listen to.
All right. So
and every track is this little small story. And for me, all these little stories, when I have a live show, I play the tracks to create this epic, big adventure. So for me, these are all little elements, and you connect them to a bigger story.
So for you to make an album, that would be something you would have a broader scheme or a bigger scheme in your mind that you would try to follow, or what is your motivation to do an album then?
Yeah, I just released my my latest album 1 month ago, and I worked on this for over 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
The album is called Utopia, and actually, it makes complete sense that it came out now, because it's about that every one of us is creating his own utopia every day, from moment to moment. Every day when you wake up, you decide how you can go on with your life. And have a listen. It's everywhere. Robert Babicz, Utopia.
It's a great album. It's the first album, I have to say, that I've listened from beginning to end, and I can say people have take a look at Robert's production, because it's interesting to have someone that is so different in his styles. I got to know you as a minimal guy, and Acid as Rob Acid. And I think you have a broad range. You have these like really uplifting tracks. You have, for me, that I would describe as trancey, atmospheric elements, but you also go into dirty elements. So you have this like you have like everything that you could use as a color palette in your production. Not in every track, but over. If you mentioned that you have over 1,000 tracks released, and I think it's interesting that you still achieve every time something different. That is, for me, something that is the artistry of Robert Babicz for me.
Something I think I'm saying for years now is that I am still an advanced beginner. Even after 30 years, I feel like I have so much to learn, and I want to understand things, and at least every day I learn a little detail. Every time when I come here to the studio and create something, I learn something. I learn a combination. I learn how for me, a track is also a sculpture in time. So you have material, and every sound have a texture, and how the texture reacts to different ways how on manipulation. It's endless, and I want to learn, and I love it.
That's great. So, is there something you would, if you think about your 30 years and your experience and everything that you did, if you come back to a track or something that you believed in for a period of time, is there something that you think, ah, man, I wish I hadn't done that differently back in the day, produced it differently? What is something that you learned and then you had to relearn it?
This is happening all the time. You have a method. The most important thing for me is that I am not ashamed of anything I ever done.
Okay.
Musically. So everything that I have done was done with the mindset of that moment. And of course, I mean, I had different phases where sometimes everything was sidechained, then everything was low cutted till something, then everything was this and this and this. And then I go on and I leave the situation and understand, okay, I can be free and let's try it the other way. And then this. Yeah, I try to teach myself and give up and learn again, and give up and learn again.
That's a pretty interesting idea, because when I got into music making 10 years ago, it was like you had this this is how deep house is done, this is how techno is done, and now you have this master classes where everyone is telling you how it should be exactly be done. So it's interesting that you say no, there are no these rules. If it sounds right, then it sounds right for you. But you have now a master class. So what is your approach for younger producers to learn something about your music making?
I created 2 master classes, and I'm working on more material, but I'm not I'm not showing a particular style. People can watch over my shoulder how I work, and for me there are only 2 styles on this planet: music that is touching me, and music I don't feel. And everything between is open to you as an artist. So I enjoy to change my style almost every day. It's like when I created an acid track today, then tomorrow I would do something soft, and then the next day I would make some experimental noise, and then on the other day I would make something housey, nice, I don't know, funky. It's I mean, it depends on what's my mood when I wake up. How does it feel?
That's cool. So how much does technology influence you? Do you believe that there is the artist versus the instrument, or is it the instrument, or what percentage do you believe actually influences your sound if you think about the technology that surrounds you?
For me, this is I don't have much respect. Like for me, this is all tools that I love, but it's not made for a museum. It's to touch them. It's to fuck them up. It's to,
to bang them.
Yeah, I mean, if you see this.
Oh yeah, your beloved 303.
Yeah, this instrument is fucked up like hell and works and rocks, and this is the tool,
Yeah.
So
he treated it like a guitarist would treat his guitar.
Yeah.
But there is this ongoing discussion whether or not it's the I mean, if you open up a DAW, you have a certain kind of workflow. If I would go to an MPC, you have a certain kind of workflow. So
Yeah,
this
that's
will influence your outcome. And what do you believe? What is the bigger influence, the artist or the instrument, when you think about it?
I mean, one reason why I stay with Logic is that Logic is so open and is not forcing me into one direction.
Hmm.
That's something why Ableton is nice, but is too much into one certain direction. So I feel free.
Hmm.
I think I could. I mean, I could make music with on my last album. There's a track almost completely created with kalimba
Mm.
uh, that is that I bought for 15 euro,
Hmm.
and I created almost all the sounds, the drums, all the sounds out of this little kalimba.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if I understand that correctly, that would mean that if you have a analog desk in front of you and you have on the other side the DAW, and you would start on one or the other, you are pretty sure that you would come up with someone similar, or does it influence you what you touch
No, it's
first?
of course it's influencing, but for me it's all fluid in a way. I change. I fly between all the technologies
Mm-hmm.
and put them together into what makes sense. I literally speak with my music. I ask my track, "Hey, my friend, what do you need?"
And what does the track answer most of the time?
They
Probably tape, right?
sometimes they speak. Yeah,
So if
and they love my the going through the tape machine. So
Oh yeah, yeah. We have to talk about that one later. If you think about what has changed for you in the last 30 years in terms, I mean, apart from the technology, what do you think what has changed the most in our industry, in our music industry?
it got a big business, and big business is big business. The thing is, I'm not a businessman, and that's why I am only rich in emotions
Okay.
and 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 memories and things. Um,
But I think that's a
I,
beautiful one. I mean, we talked before the show, and I was asking you if these 30 years that you lived through, if they were gone too quick, which is something so many people tell me. And you told me that you actually lived like 3 lives as one person. And I think
Mhm.
that's a very powerful statement to say, and it's something really inspiring for me to go on, because that means that you every moment that you have shared or that you have lived through is something valuable for you. And
Yes.
I think many people can't say this about their lives, especially I mean, I have these talks now because of the situation that we are in. I have the time to talk with a lot of people, and many people told me, "Man, I don't know where these last 30 years have been."
Oh, I know. Then it's sad. Actually, this is a very sad statement, to be honest,
Yeah, I feel that completely. Yeah.
because I really live. Every moment is very important. Everything. That's why I have this lava lamp, and I like how these little bubbles go up, and I enjoy this. And yeah, everything is super important for me.
So,
It's really it.
would you describe yourself as a spiritual person?
People telling me that I am spiritual. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I, um, I, I mean, it depends on the definition of spiritual. When you say, I, I, I have the feeling that when I create music, is that I am somehow a medium, that the music is going through me, and
Mm.
I I just let it happen. I go into the flow and let things happen, and the ego is not so important. Actually, it can be quite stressful.
Yeah, the ego part is which got me over the years. I think that's something I have to relearn to let go the ego. I think that's a good point that you're making there.
And the something I really learned. Actually, I will be 48 in a few weeks. Um, Something that I really learned about life is that all the things where you think you are, that are your weak points, your flaws, actually they are your features. This is what makes you special. This is what makes you unique. I was as a young boy so shy and um, sensitive. And
Yeah.
actually, this is cool because now I can live this in full effect. I love to be sensitive. I love to enjoy a flower. I love to hug a cat. I love to see the sunrise and feel every little detail in a track. Why not? Makes fun.
That's great. That's absolutely great. I mean, if we think about flaws, that's an interesting take on it. So, I mean, people always try to self optimize themselves, and um, this would mean that we at some point have to think about it. Is it exactly that makes us a person? And these
Yeah.
flaws may be a part of being unique. So why change that? That's a great, interesting idea. Wow. And that's on the music show. That's really cool. By the way, people, if you think that you can't ask any questions, that is completely wrong. We are open for debate. We have no specific topic apart from music today. I have the pleasure to talk today with Robert Babicz. So let's go to something about the music industry. You were saying that you're not a businessman. So why
Mm.
starting a label?
Um, I I created my labels because I wanted to be independent. For me, it's all about being independent, and at the same time, the music industry changed a lot. And these days, the income stream got, I mean, if you know the numbers of Spotify,
Yes. Yeah.
or I mean, then that means it's a good idea to create your own label and have the full control over everything. Then why give 0.001 cent away?
Yeah.
I mean, every day, um, I think I got the number last time that the curator at Spotify, they are getting like 50,000 tracks per day to choose for a playlist.
Yeah.
We are little dots in a big stream. See, yeah.
Is that something that do you think that diminishes music as a whole? Because I'm thinking about it. a lot of times because I've worked for a music distributor, digital label, and I saw the amount of music that is put out every day. I was thinking, no wonder nobody is really valuing music anymore, because it's everywhere, and it's something today. Now you don't have to work for it to be a consumer, if you want to use that term, because music is literally just a few buttons away. And I mean, you come from a time where music was limited because you actually had to buy a physical product to listen to it. Do you think that changed that the digital world now changes the overall perception of sound and music?
It's actually, in general, it's a great idea that everyone can do music, and music is available everywhere and at every time. But you have to teach. I think what we missed is to adapt to this new reality and teach the people the value of a piece of music. And the problem is, at the same time that everyone can do music, is that we have a lot of music that is created with presets and kind of, you put a bit of this and this and this together and you say this is a track. Yeah, it sounds like a track, but it's nothing unique. Where's the personality? So I don't know. It's not good. It's not bad. It's a situation we have. I love to have all the artists, all the sounds at the fingertip. It's amazing. But what we'll do with this? I am quite happy that my children value music, and something that made me a proud dad was that my son just wrote me 2 days ago. He just wrote me that because he's now starting to make his own music, and without I let him do whatever he wants, and he started to make his own music, and he told me, Daddy, since I make music, I understood how great your music is, how much insight in this music. Because before I was always letting my kids out of this equation. I mean, they, of course, they knew everything, but it was not important for me to, they didn't knew who Daddy, what, it was not important. And now when as he is starting to create, he understands that this is a universe. And you have to learn the art, and it was a very touching moment for me to get this from my son.
Oh, beautiful! That is cool. That is absolutely amazing. So, if you think back, has the birth of your children changed your music? Is there something that influenced your music process?
Oh yes, my daughter was born in the year 2000.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's 20 now. And at that time, I was still just mainly Rob Acid. I already created I had 2 albums, experimental electronica albums, on a label called Nil Plateau at that time, but this was like experiments. And the main music I created was this super energetic firestorm. For me, Rob Acid was always this fire burner, and I don't know, maybe when to be a daddy took the took this angry energy out of me.
Oh, really? So
And
this anger gone.
yeah, this anger is gone, and I started. Yeah, before I was this fighter, you know, everything. I had to kill everyone on the dance floor, and 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 then when I became a daddy, I started to be a captain on the ship, and the people on the dance floor were my crew, and I have to take care of them, and we go through big adventures together, and I will
So it
help
was more
everyone.
a collaborative event now for you.
Yes, somehow something changed, and
Wow.
actually around 2003, 2004, I said no more Rob Acid. I want to be just Robert Babicz. Oh, I had so many different project names, so many uh, releases, and I just said, okay, I don't want to hide behind a certain topic or name. I want to be complete. So that's my name, Robert Babicz. So everything I release from now on will be just myself. And it's if the people have a problem with this, it's their problem. It's not mine.
Cool. I mean, I think this question now fits perfectly to what we're actually talking about right now because Gigi is asking, which festival does Robert like the most and why?
Mm-hmm. Something that I would say was life-changing was to to attend to Burning Man festival.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was a week. This event goes on for a week, and it's more or less a spiritual gathering of people from all around the world of crazy minds coming together, and it was for me as I am, let's say I do like science fiction, and for me being on Burning Man was like a week on a different planet with all kinds of galactic traveler.
When was that?
Amazing.
When was that?
I think the last time, actually, it was planned to be there this year again.
Oh, so you have been there several times.
No, it's second time now.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward, maybe if everything goes well, maybe next year or the year after. But I will come back because I have to. It's a must.
That's cool. So is traveling something stressful for you or do you enjoy traveling in general?
I would say I get paid not to play my show. I get paid to sit in a plane or sit in a car. This is why people pay me money. Because I love music. I would, if there would be beaming, I would be like everywhere.
Oh, beaming would be so awesome. I hate flying so much. I hate it so much.
It's part of my life. Actually, it's interesting. It's also the because I'm always collecting emotions, and every human I see or everyone I talk to and everything that happens is collected, and then I transform this into my music. So it's kind of also nice to travel around the world, and of course amazing to see all these places and all these cultures, and I like really special and amazing is this moment. I don't know if you had this. Is when you come out of the plane, every country and every city have its own smell.
Yes. Wow. I wanted to
You
say
co-
that.
you
Yeah.
you, you come out of the plane and you feel it. And this is amazing if you can go to every corner of the world and I love it.
That's impressive. I was that the hugest impact for me was when I was in Hong Kong, when I was 16, and I came out of the plane. Everything smelled different. The air, the moisture, everything was different. Everything tasted different, of course, but not just because of the different food, but it was different. Everything was different.
Hmm.
Um, Coke tasted different. You were in the bathtub and the water was a different texture, and that is I completely get what you're saying, because you still you take a step into a different world, and Hong Kong and China for me was completely different, and that was my first big impact, and I still to this day remember that very intensively. So what has been your most favorite place to be then? Is there a country where you said, wow, I feel like home instantly?
In general, I would say I um, of course let's say okay, I'm born in Poland. I'm raised and
Dzień dobry.
dzień dobry. Grew up in Germany and now I live in Malta since 3 years.
Okay.
And I would say I am a human on planet Earth. If people ask me where you're from,
Oh,
um, I like all the small differences in every country.
yeah.
It's I actually I could live everywhere. I just need an airport not too far away. I need power for my gear, and I need internet connection. If I have this, I can go there.
Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. So, if you think, I mean, how long have you been in Poland then? How long have you been there?
Um, my parents moved to Germany when I was 5, almost 6 years old. So I came to Germany and I had 2 months in the kindergarten,
Mm.
and then I was going to school. But of course, my family is Polish, and um, we've been to Poland every time. I mean, yeah, there's still a connection, and it's interesting. There is also a magical connection is when I have a show in Poland and I come out of the plane and I smell this
Yeah.
this Polish air.
Yeah.
I feel like my heart is beating faster.
Interesting.
And it's and I have no control about this. There is something. Maybe we are somehow connected to the place where we are born. There is a connection, and it will stay maybe all your life. But
That's interesting, because I have been to Hungary first time, and my father came from Hungary. I've never been there, and a Hungarian friend, he said you have to visit the land of your ancestors, and I have been there, and I could describe everything that you mentioned. I was instantly felt at home. That's why I asked this question. If there is something where you would say this is a place also that I can call home for me, and I had this same reaction. That is absolutely interesting. That there is something, and to follow that logic, I'm also quite interested in what does this this country or this feeling does to your sound. Because if I talk with musicians, they always
Mhm.
sometimes describe something. Oh yeah, that is Swedish, or that is
Oh.
American. You know, how you approach sound, or how something sounds. Is this something that resonates with you, or would you say that is bullshit and it's just something that they just put on afterwards, or is there something truth to that?
If I would describe my music, I would say I am a professional melancholic. And and it's somehow connected to the Polish soul.
Okay.
So maybe uh, Polish people can be sad,
Yeah.
and they love to be sad.
But they love
So
to be sad, but they have this strange. I wouldn't call it dark humor, but they have a strange humor that I really enjoy. I really like Polish people. So I get what you're saying. Um, s- Interesting. Yeah, that's completely different from what I expected our talk to be. But that's so cool. So you would say that there's, because I've been to Electron and what they came up with. And when I was in this Swedish scene, it was completely different from what I've expected before. It was completely different electronic music, and it was, to a certain extent, it was cold. It was deep. It was really melancholic. But I had these experience with artists. They had this really strangeness to them. I would describe this as strangeness, because it was something not familiar with me. But
mhm.
I have sometimes these feelings that if you grew up in a place and there's a lot of sun, or if you grow up in a place where's a lot of rain and not so much sunlight, I think that will affect your general state of mind. Probably that's something that you can say. I don't know.
I maybe yes. I can see it in a way that since I live here in Malta, and Malta has 300 days of sunshine per year in general.
Wow, I'm not
Uh,
jealous.
I I think I smile more. My my mood, um, I can be super sad and smile, and super happy and cry.
So you're very melancholic, a happy Polish guy in in the
In
sunny
Malta,
in Malta.
yes. But raised in Germany, and I like when things happen, and I like when things happen on time.
That's a bummer for this live stream, because we actually started 20 minutes late. Sorry for that,
Yeah,
Robert.
but at the same time, I'm super relaxed. Really, it's something I learned here in Malta. This um, the Mediterranean lifestyle is things happen at the right time.
Which for
You know.
German is really hard to grasp sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yes.
So if I ask people about you, about in the industry, nobody has any grudges against you, or is they always high hold you in such a high place because you're such an open and friendly person. When you think about what your personality is, do you think that this is also the reason why you've got so far in the music industry?
I, is this far that I'm able to have my living since 30 years of music?
So I,
You
I don't I
bet.
don't want to sound like I just want to blow up smoke up your ass. But if I would have to describe you, you are one of the few people that are still relevant in this scene. And you started from the beginning, and you've been there.
Mhm.
and you still are relevant today, and you still have a huge crowd. People love your music, and I've been in the industry for 5 years, and I've seen so many people come and go. So this is, I would say, if you're happy with that, what you're making, this is an absolute success, your story.
Mm. I think it has to do with that the work that I'm doing, I take it really, really serious.
Okay.
Like I dedicated my life to music, and with all my being, I'm inside, and I literally want to fall off, like I want to die on the stage while I create music.
Would you say that this is the reason? Because Dixon once said in an interview, the reason why he never got a plan B was because then he would at some point fail in making music. Is that also your approach?
Yeah, I don't have a plan B. Actually, I even have no idea what I should do without music. No, for me it was full on, and when I decided to go into this music, techno and all this electronic music there was no industry yet, and nobody could think of that you would have a living out of this. I mean, I was playing for 20 German marks, and that was mainly the gasoline for my car. And I was happy because I could do what was making me happy. For a long time, for many years, my parents never really understood why I'm doing this. I mean, I decided not go to university. I said I will not take a job. I want to do this music with every cell of my being, and that was creating the situation that I was living in. I mean, my parents threw me out of home when I told them, "Hey, I will not do what you want from me." And I was able to get a small room outside of Cologne. Really, just had a used mattress on the floor, only some used stuff, and every German mark that I got at that time was invested into music. Like, there was nothing else in my mind. I wanted to do this. I didn't care about if I'm poor or no. This was never. I don't want it to be a star or rich. I just wanted to make this music, and I'm still like that.
So you're still a child. You're still 18 years old, and you're.
I think this is a very, very important topic. You have to, when you want to be creative, you need a good contact to your inner child. For me, it's really, this is my toy room, and I play with my toys freely, and I remember when I was maybe 10 years old or younger, one of my favorite games was creating. At that time, I had something like a cheap version of Lego, because the real Lego was way too expensive. I had cheap Lego. We got that from someone, and I was creating big space stations and castles. And what really made me happy was taking big stones and throwing this on them.
So building up everything and then destroy it again.
Yes, and this is something I still do with my music. And I build ideas, I build concepts, I build tracks, and then I let them go.
So
it's also many people don't understand when they speak about their artistic life. They always tell me, "Oh, I have so many unfinished tracks on my hard drive, and I have to finish this, and I have finished that." And when I say I don't have any unfinished tracks, they ask me why, and I tell them because I delete everything that is not good enough. I completely delete every project that makes no sense for me. Or if I have the feeling, it's okay, but only okay, I delete it and start completely from zero.
So you never come back to a track? There's
No, I delete everything.
Wow.
I have not one unfinished track.
So it's I finished this track today, or it's gone?
Yes.
Wow. So is it fair to assume that you hate templates also in Logic? You always start from a blank slate?
I don't have any templates.
Wow.
I don't know what I should do with a template.
Oh, crazy. Okay, so are there any routines in your maybe for mastering? Are there any routines for you that you come back to?
I mean, it's a fluid thing. It's you constantly learn something. You like I said before, I have some gear I like at the moment, and I use it a lot. But then maybe something else comes my way and will replace it, and then I let the other one go. I'm not really attached to all this. It's the perfect gear for this moment right now, and I love it. But when something different will come and it makes sense, I can let it go.
Is there something you would call a desert island instrument? Something that you couldn't let go?
Oh, I have a few instruments that I really, really, really love. I mean, one of them is, of course, my 303 because there's this big history and there's. You see? Maybe you can read this. There's Rob Acid written on this.
Yeah, I can see.
This is written with my
blood.
own blood.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So what have you done? You have cut your arms and then you said, okay, I have to write it, or what's the story behind the blood on your 303?
Yeah, I had bloody fingers and I thought, okay, I'm Rob Acid.
Wow. Okay.
But an instrument that I really love is the SH-101 because it's simple and you can create almost any sound out of this you can think of. Or at least I know how to create the sounds. And also something many people ask me how I create my bass lines in a lot of my tracks. And actually the main ingredient is always just a simple sine wave. I love to create all the sounds out of the init. When you open the sampler inside Logic, there's this init sine wave. Beep. And from that through overdrive, distortion, filtering, modulation, I create all my sounds.
That's interesting. Okay, then let's before we go to the complete sonic nerd talk again. Tao is asking: is there a full length record that you would take on a lonely island? Is there something? Is there something as an album that completely fills out your desire as a music listener?
That's difficult. That's very, very, very difficult because I'm somehow a little bit strange. I don't really listen to other music. I don't own a TV since 20 years. I literally throw it out of the window.
That's why the blood. That's hence the blood, or
No, but I just hate TV with all my heart. The problem is somehow when you create your music, you get to know a lot of the artists that you. Okay, let's say it in another way. The best cooks on this planet, everyone cooks with water. So if you understand this, that's why I say literally I make the music I want to listen to.
okay. So there's not this moment when you open up a vinyl and you put it on and you said, "Yeah, I want to do that."
No.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's interesting.
I mean, I am quite like I have really big respect for people like Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, who invented electronic music and had all this concept, and he created a universe out of his mind. This is like big respect, and I think even it's one of the reasons why I am an artist. Is because I was listening to this experimental music as a child. And actually I thought this is a when I heard experimental electronic music the first time in as a child, I thought this is alien communication. And that this is something very spooky. I don't know. It's still, I am in my spaceship here and traveling through the galaxy of of my mind.
That's a great description. So then let's look closer to your spaceship, because I know that you are you have been on all sides. You have been a musician, you have been a sound designer, and you have also been a geek for analog designs. We both have a friend, Steffen Müller. He has this company, Custom Audio Germany. And you were developing with him together, I believe it was for an 1176 clone, the dry wet control.
Actually, I was his first client. I was the one who bought the first Pultec EQ and the first compressor. I still have them here.
Okay, shout out to Steffen. He's one of the most
amazing guy.
He's just I can't describe how grateful I am for Steffen, because he taught me so much about the industry. It's such a great guy, such a lovely guy. If you ever have the chance to talk to him, and maybe also talk about his great music career, as I don't know if I want to say that, but he was the microwave prince. You should have a look. It's so inspiring to have him. It's cool. That's really cool. So,
and if you call me a geek, Steffen is the master geek. I mean,
Oh yeah.
He really, that's like mastery in details, technology, and stuff. While I am, I love all this technology and I use it very intense. But for me, it's only important how it feels.
Yeah.
I really don't care about numbers. When I don't care about what's really inside and what kind of stuff is inside. It's for me. It's does it connect to me?
Yeah.
Does it feel good?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing that it's important. Of course, good equipment can be good. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So we talked about this. I mean, um, I'm a hardware fetishist. I can honestly say that I love analog, but it's also because of the haptic and the
mhm.
thing that I just listen to the music instead of scrolling with a mouse through a menu. Um, and I will show the HDE to you guys in a minute. But what is the reason why you still stick to analog? Is it just the sound, or what is it for you?
Um, Actually, while we this year is quite interesting because we're. I mean, I was never for such a long time at home since I'm 18, like this year, and I rediscovered somehow the idea of really valuing happy accidents.
Mm.
And this is something, you create your music and at a certain moment you have to turn this knob.
Yeah.
And then you are somehow so deep in this recording process and you turn another knob. And maybe it's not planned, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's something happened. It's like a happy accident. And this is something, but yeah, this tactile thing, you touch an instrument and the thing, and this tactile happy accidents can only happen with hardware. Software is always perfect. Software makes exactly what you want, and don't take it wrong. I love the amazing possibilities we have here
Mm.
in software. I love them,
Mm.
but at the same time, I like to touch this and the again. It's it's
You like to touch it and it's to a little bit. Yeah. Hit it. I get it. So let me show that to the people. I show now your EQ rack, and on the bottom, the beautiful black beauty is the custom audio HDE 250A.
mhm,
And there's this interesting story. So Steffen, he started out as a musician, just as you, but he also was always interested in engineering. And there is a beloved EQ design from George Massenburg and someone else, which is called the Sontec.
mhm,
And Steffen had the idea to take some of the good aspects of the Sontec and put them into his own design, and that's what he came up with. And it's basically a 5-band equalizer with dual mono capabilities, and now MS. And
mhm.
custom audio Germany is not only a name; it's simply a state of mind, because everything that you see on the HDE you can customize, from the buttons to the shelving EQs to everything. So can you tell a little bit about what the HDE is for you, and what you're using it for?
Um, this is sitting in my master bus and is yeah, it's part of the main color of every track, every mastering, everything. Um, It's actually quite important. Yeah, if interesting.
But I think
It's everywhere. It's like the main thing. It's in everything. It's always there.
what is there something specific that you're using for highs or mids or bass, or what is it? What would you describe it?
I like that the EQ is somehow, it's not invisible, but it's elegant.
Oh yes, it's like a
It's
silver. It's
yeah,
silvery.
it's a very, very elegant EQ where, I mean, the thing with a hardware EQ like this is, if you compare this to, let's say, a plug-in EQ, is on a plug-in you put in some, like, let's say you increase 10K and you you have more high end.
Mm.
When I turn the 10K here, the sun is coming up.
Yeah,
It's a different thing. It's like it's like you take a curtain away of the sound. It's completely, you can feel how the air is different.
yeah.
I mean, it sounds like completely I'm mad, but I don't care. For me,
Oh no,
it's a fantastic thing.
I totally get what you're saying, because I used it. I had it now for 3 weeks, and I use it now every day. I just go to it, pull up a track, and start to hear. And I compared it with a lot of different digital EQs, and it's so interesting what happens when when you put in the same values. I feel when I use an digital EQ, it gets like boxy. When I start to increase the bass at a certain frequency, you have this like, yeah, you increase the bass, but there's something also added in a digital EQ. And when you use the HDE, it's so round. It's always elegant, as you say, but it's such in a, I can't describe it. It's just so, it grabs it so smoothly and so elegantly, but never over pushes anything around this frequency. It's hard to describe for me, but it's interesting. It's a completely different experience than a digital EQ.
Yeah, this actually, this in combination with a dangerous Bucks EQ, they are my main EQ friends.
Yeah. And you also, I tried to find a picture of it. You also have the Chandler curve bender.
Yeah, it's here.
Which is a completely different beast. Which is like the big guy, the really extravaganza guy, right? It's like the completely opposite of the HDE, right?
Yeah, the the Chandler is it's a character. Like it's the bad boy. while the HDE is like the elegant gentleman. The Chandler is the bad boy with the big gun, and he's like, and the bass drum is exploding. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this is again, there's the one thing is an American design, and the other one is a German design. You can guess which one is which.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something that is really interesting. I mean, we can see your studio. You have a lot of different preamps, and there is an ongoing discussion about using preamps, even though they are intentionally designed mostly for guitar or microphones, to use them also for synthesizers as a line input preamp. And I hear people say, this is absolutely nonsense. You don't need a line preamp because this adds no value apart from a little bit distortion to the synthesizer. You, on the other hand, say that this makes a difference. And can you elaborate a bit more on this topic?
Yeah, let's. Okay, this is quite complex, and
I can show your pictures. I have your rack here.
yeah, the thing is, I usually have two preamps of, always two of everything.
Always a stereo pair.
Yeah, and I'm sending out stereo signals out of my Logic into the microphone preamps, and then they get summed by the dangerous 2-bus plus. This is like
interesting. So instead of going, it starts as converted into your DAW, and then you add the sound with the preamp.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's somehow for me the concept of a mixing board. But I always, even many years ago, I had a modded old mixing board from Chilton, and my a good friend, a technician who was modding this and shaping the unit, I told him why when he was repairing the console, like the first time when I got the console, he asked me, okay, maybe we can do some things better and we can change the character in the console. Do you want it more that way or that way? And I said, I want all.
I want it all. Give me absolute power.
So I told him, please change the values every 2 channels.
Yeah.
Give me the choice. Give me a color palette. And I really loved this concept of having a color palette. It's you have these little pastel tones. They are all a little bit different. Some preamps are faster, some of them are slower, some have more punch, some are like more mid-focused. And this is somehow shaping and helping me in the mixdown process. So I have to do less EQing, less compression, because I let the preamp somehow do the magic, and then just sum this together, and the signal is there. And because I have stereo pairs, that means you have different different streams with a with the texture is a little bit different. And the contrast is a bit different. And when you put everything together, you have this 3D sound, what I'm after. That you can go inside the track, because everything is somehow, this have this texture and this is this. And when you just have a console with one sound, everything is a bit harder to achieve. This concept of working with the preamps, they simply just help me to achieve, to be faster, to achieve this idea.
Interesting.
And go into this topic.
So right now I'm just showing the people your stereo Friedenstein bento rack with the red. I see the Focusrite red. I see the API.
But the main for the mixdown, my really beloved preamp is the Electrodyne. This one has really big balls.
Ah, okay. I have to see that.
It's like down in the rack. The rack is quite high.
Yeah. I see the black one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just try to
So
find
it's
that.
the Electrodyne. It's the Great River. It's here the heritage, the Neve. It's the Focusrite. API, my lunchbox here is where all the analog sounds, how I record all the instruments from that side.
And underneath a battered Eventide harmonizer, the Orville.
Yeah. I had a Lexicon 480, like the super big, the best reverb on planet Earth. And
Supposedly,
I sold it to get the Orville when it came out.
Oh,
this was for me the holy grail, and yeah, still. I'm a big Eventide fan, yeah.
What do you use mostly? Is it the chorus or the delays, or is it everything all over the place? What is it? What makes the Orville for you so special?
For me, actually, Eventide is the reverbs are like a must in my music, especially the black hole preset is like, this is Babicz.
I mean, I have the H9000 here, and I can say that I just can show that here, people. Just for a quick, that's the H9000. Don't want to brag about it. I love it to death. Had the chance to talk with the Eventide guys. Love it, and the reverbs are astonishing. They are crazy.
Yeah, and the modulation effects, of course. Yeah. I mean, the H9000 is like, this is.
Yeah, but yeah, I get it, but it's just. It's just gear. So I still make shitty music, but at least it sounds good. It's
it's a tool to.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic tool. It's all tools.
It's all tools, yeah. You again, you are breaking rules here, because you don't care about the initial conversion then. So you use your antelope, you go into the DAW, and then you say, oh, well, I like this one now for the Great River or for the Electrodyne. So you don't care about what the initial sound is that comes into your computer then, right?
It depends. If it's recorded from that side of the studio, it was going probably through the API. If it's recorded from the other side, it's without. And a lot of signals are just coming from the computer. I mean, this is something I would say. All the great plugins, they can do amazing things, but they lack of character. Mm-hmm. And because I sent the plugins, synthesizer to the preamps, I will get what this last 5% was missing in the sound.
Okay.
You inject the magic touch.
I see. And then you have this very special tape machine. Yes, you talk about the magic of tape. At least you did in a masterclass that I've seen from 2014, and in your Slices interview. Is this still something you?
Yeah, it's still every track that like for my own music is going through my Studer A80, of course, yeah. And I also still have my my spring reverb, the AKG BX20. It's there, the big box.
Ooh, wow, the gold foil.
Yeah.
The gold foil.
No, it's this big. It's almost like. It's a very, very, very big box. And I just recently started to use it again because I bought the Dimension D that Behringer is recreated.
Oh, okay.
And if you combine the Dimension D chorus with the spring reverb, this is great.
You get the wideness and the depth at the same time, right?
Yes. Yeah. It somehow got me back into using this unit.
Oh, wow.
And then, tape delays and bucket brigade delays. And I'm a phaser freak. I love all kinds of phaser.
Oh, yeah, phaser are great. That's still something that I have from Daft Punk. Yeah, I love phasers. They are amazing. Someone mentioned that you also have a Vice EQ. I'm not sure about this. Do you have a Vice EQ?
No. I don't have it. But there's this emulation I wanted to try, but I did try yet. No.
You mean the Soft Tube one? Okay.
Yeah, but the Vice EQ, from what I heard from people who have the hardware, is that this is the perfect invisible EQ. So maybe a really good tool for making invisible cuts or something.
Okay.
I didn't try it, so maybe I try.
Okay. So I think.
Yeah, we are talking for 86 minutes.
That's crazy. I mean, we had a very deep talk at the beginning, which I really appreciate. Are you open to some further questions, or we can end this now? What is your opinion?
We can do it again because I have a live stream set from my studio tonight.
Damn.
At PM. So I have to prepare a little bit. But we can, from my side, we can do this talk again and do some gear talk or some philosophy about things.
Actually, I would like to maybe sometimes start with you a track and live and see how you produce something, if that is something you're open to see what you're going through. Also, but I would love to talk to you again. I have still so many questions, but I mean, we're now reaching like 1.5 hours. So I would love to have you again on the show.
We can do it. Sure.
Robert, thank you so much for being on the show. This was really interesting and eyes opening for me. Thank you so much, and people, thank you for staying on the show, and see you next time. Have a good night and make more music.
Yes.